Welcome to Two Men in the Shed. I'm Justin.
And I'm Dan.
And we've prepared nothing.
I didn't even know. I thought you were doing another test. I didn't realise this is live.
No, we're live now. We're live now.
Yeah, we are completely underprepared today.
So, we talked about a few topics. You wanted to talk about nuclear power.
No, that was last week.
Yeah, then you suggested for this week when we talked yesterday.
Oh, no, it wasn't last week. It was zombie last week.
Zombies last week,
Nuclear power was this week, yeah.
We're not doing nuclear power.
No, I know. I realise that now.
I've decided, as I was looking for a topic to discuss, I thought, well, neither of us have really researched any topics. Whilst we may be knowledgeable on some, we'd have to agree on something where we're both knowledgeable. Now, what you probably can't see, that boy is up on this screen here. We've got a series of topics. We're going to talk about a lot of topics.
I have 20/20 vision. I can see all of that.
So I've got a list of semi-controversial talking points. Nothing that's going to get you cancelled. Don't worry.
I don't think we're even on in the first place.
So the first one we've got
Yes.
is I'm going to read the statements.
Yeah.
And then we're going to defend them or reject them.
Okay.
With a little bit of reasoning.
So we're going to talk about them a little bit, and then...
Yeah, well, we've got 30 topics, 1 hour podcast. That's 2 minutes a topic. And we've already killed nearly 2 minutes. So
You didn't plan this very well, did you?
I did. It's supposed to be a quick fire to see where we stand on these topics.
Okay, go
and
for
then,
it.
Maybe we'll dig into them deeper another time.
Okay.
If we spend more time than necessary on one topic, then we'll have to shorten another topic. Now, some of them can be quite short, some are going to be quite long. I'll kick it off with testing on animals should be banned.
Wow.
Defend or reject?
Defend or reject? Well, I guess the main question is, if you're not testing on animals, what do you test on?
People, of course.
But that,
the outcast of society.
But that's the whole point of testing, is so that it doesn't ruin humans.
It doesn't ruin humans.
Let's face it, yeah? Animals can't what's it called? They can't lodge protests.
They can't complain.
Yeah, they also can't sue people either, but people can. And that's why they do testing on animals.
My point of view is it's a necessary evil. Saves people's lives. And yeah, that's where I stand on it.
But a lot of people would argue that people are less important than animals. That's the
I would agree with some of that. There are certainly some people who are less important than my cat. And I don't like my cat. So, yeah, I would agree. But generally a good thing. Or not really, I shouldn't say a good thing. Generally a necessary thing. Okay, moving on. Number 2. The death penalty is sometimes justified.
Yes, like when you don't agree with me.
That's what I'm supposed to say. You're the more rational person here.
Am I? I don't think so. No, I'm glad it's where it is at the moment, because let's face it could be misused, and that's why it was probably outlawed in the first place. Imagine an innocent person being convicted, set up, death penalty, done, gone.
Yeah, well, the thing is, death row, sort of like in the US, death row sort of like 4 to 8 years, so there's plenty of time for them to find evidence that something's not quite right.
But yeah,
however,
yeah,
I think the death penalty should be in certainly for those cases for really heinous crimes where the evidence is so overwhelming. So I think they should put a new bar in. I mean, currently to convict it's reasonable doubt, beyond reasonable doubt. They should put in, the near certainty. So if they can get into, say, it's a near certainty, then they should be eligible for the death sentence.
I think it should be. Well, okay, fine. I kind of agree, but I also agree that, or think rather, that anyone that's serving more than one life sentence should be eligible.
More than one life sentence?
Yeah.
What's life sentence nowadays?
25 years.
25 years? No, screw it. That's a big burden on society. If it's a life sentence, life is life. Take it.
No. What I mean is, if you get sentenced to more than one life sentence, then it should be eligible for the death penalty. Not after the life sentence is finished.
No, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
You're saying anything more than a life sentence. I'm saying if it's a life sentence, therefore it's life. Therefore, we may as well take that life, take them out, execute them.
Oh, okay.
Then we don't have to support them. So that's what I'm saying. So heinous crimes where it would be a life sentence, with near certainty, then
I actually think it should be exiled to the moon.
Too expensive to put them there.
It is
Exile
now,
them
yeah.
to the bottom of the ocean.
Also too expensive.
No, it's not. You hold them under the water and then let them go once they've stopped breathing.
We're returning to the what is it? The 16th century now, are we? Just has some rocks in their pockets.
Burn them, drown them, stone them.
The only problem that I think with that is it can be sometimes misused for innocent people, and that is where and then you can't undo the sentences.
Absolutely, and this is why I'm saying it has to be that near certainty. And when I say near certainty, I don't mean, well, I'm about certain. When I say near certainty, as certain as you can be.
Yes.
Let's say, witnessed by 30 people, it's on video.
Yeah.
There's no getting around it. You did it. I don't care what. That boy's breaking the set apart out now. Chucked his mic on the floor.
Yeah, that should be a death sentence.
I'm just gonna. They can't hear you. You haven't got no mic. We'll just wait for him to repair it. Oh dear. Anyway, that reminds us we need to move on to the next topic. Okay. Now, think before you answer now, fat boy.
They still can't hear me.
They can when you're shouting. Think before you answer on this one.
Yeah.
Well, I'll answer first then. Women should be paid less than men in some professions. I should have muted your mic while you're doing all that. It's going to be so much noise.
Well, I'm sure you can filter it out. Can you hear me now? Yeah, good.
Okay. Women should be paid less than men in some professions.
What professions?
Well, that's the statement. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll go first to give you an idea of my thoughts, and you can chime in with your thoughts.
Go on then.
No.
No, that's wrong.
No is my immediate thought. However, people should be paid according to worth on the work they're doing. So there would then be professions where women are getting paid less. If you look at something particularly like manual labour, if we look at generic strengths of men versus women, I'm not talking about the very few women that are stronger than the average man or something like that, but the average people. So if your job's labour, let's just say for argument's sake, your job's to carry bricks across a building yard, to unload the lorry, take bricks off the lorry and put them near where the bricklayers are. If you're a man and you carry over 10,000 bricks in a day, and you're a woman and you carry over 5,000 bricks in a day, that man should be paid twice as much as that woman. But vice versa is true as well.
Yeah.
If a woman carries over 10,000 bricks and a man carries over 5,000 bricks, then the woman should be paid twice what the man is. It should be based on the work done.
No, I don't agree with that. I actually don't agree with that at all, because you can have, let's say you take two men, right?
Yep.
One's a lazy bastard.
Yep.
And the other one isn't.
Yep.
They're going to be paid the same.
No. I'm saying if the lazy bastard only carries 5,000 bricks over, he should get paid half of what the man carrying 10,000 bricks. My argument was it shouldn't be about men or women. It should be about the work done.
But your statement says women.
Yes, and my answer to that is no. It should be about the work done.
Yeah.
I was given physical labour as an example because it's one of the areas where men would tend to excel over women and therefore be paid more. But there are other areas where women would excel over men.
Yeah, okay.
I deliberately picked labour in because it's an easy thing to measure, carrying bricks. Obviously, if you're doing something more along the lines of nursing, a lot of areas it's harder to measure those statistics to say who's working harder and stuff. But that's the point of appraisals and work site monitorings, and your supervisors and stuff should be monitoring your progress, and therefore it should all be based on your appraisal. So
but I think in reality, measuring progress and measuring people's abilities is far more difficult thing to do. Like, I know plenty of people that are really shit at development compared to me, and I get paid way less than they do.
So there you go, folks. He's just told you he's in development. After trying to hide it, are we going to know what height you are now as well?
6'3". There you go.
Okay, right. No one cared. Maybe they did. Hopefully they cared, because otherwise they might be thinking I'm a midget and you're normal sized.
If you see any, if you see any photos of us, then you probably think that anyway. Stood up anyway.
Back to the topic. So, I agree. It's difficult to measure, but it's done already. This is what we do. We do appraisals and measurements and stuff like that. And yes, there are those people that can weasel their way and take advantage for somebody else's work. But that's a fact of life, regardless of gender. I say gender shouldn't come into it. It should come into performance. Now, people who weasel their ways into things and, get up the ladder and stuff, they soon get found out for being useless. You only get so far being carried along on lies.
Yeah, but it's all the lies they've ruined on the way up as well, as a result.
But that's a fact of life, regardless of man or woman.
Oh, I have been through it.
Okay, on to the next one. Assisted suicide should be made legal.
Suicide booth! I said that way too happy. I was literally thinking of Futurama.
I was about to say, you have to give them the reference now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bite my shiny middle ass. Assisted suicide. Yeah, I mean, in extreme circumstances, you kind of accept it, don't you? Like, if you're paralyzed from the neck down and you're just kept alive on ventilators and just being shoved in food, and they communicate they want to be killed, I probably think that's an acceptable kind of scenario. Yeah.
Agreed. Now, I think there needs to be some checks and balances put onto it.
Yeah.
Because where do you draw that line? That needs to be put down somewhere. You have to say, right, the quality of life is low enough,
minimal,
that we're going to allow it. Because you need to cancel out the people that are going to do it on a whim. My life's atrocious.
Okay.
I hate life. It's miserable. It's disgraceful.
But in that scenario,
assisted suicide of a perfectly healthy 16-year-old because they want to.
In that scenario, people that are depressed will tend to do it anyway and find a means of doing it, regardless. So, assisted is in those circumstances where they can't do it themselves and their quality of life is terrible.
Well, here's the thing, right? Fun fact for you, or not so fun a fact, but
yes,
women tend to try to commit suicide more often than men.
Okay.
However,
yeah,
men commit suicide more than women.
So you mean they succeed more at it?
That's right.
Yeah.
Men are violent creatures.
Oh yeah.
On average, compared to women. So when men tend to kill themselves, they do it in such a way that's going to end them. Because women are tend to be less violent, they do it in ways that doesn't always work. Now, one of the things you often see from survivors...
Sorry. Yeah.
From what? Pills?
No. I thought you were going to say one of the things you see most common, and I was going to say pills. People take loads of pills, and then they get the stomach pumped. It's fine.
But that's the sort of thing that females tend to do more than men. But you threw me completely off what I was going to say.
That's the aim of this podcast.
What was I talking about?
I don't know.
You don't even know. See, we're not even listening to what we're saying. How do we expect the audience to listen? I was going to say something about something. Screw it. I'm going to move on. It will come back to me later, and I'm going to interrupt halfway through another topic and go, oh, "That's what I was going to say," or I'm going to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and go,
"Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah,
that was the thing."
And then you'll cut it onto the end of this podcast.
I'll splice it in. I'll put text over on for YouTube anyway.
Oh,
the rest of you people, you're not going to be able to,
no,
not going to, be able to hear that.
Subscribe to us and watch it. You get the outtakes.
There's no outtakes. I'm too lazy to cut it.
I know.
Well, that's not quite true. I think last week we discussed something we probably shouldn't have discussed.
No, we didn't.
And we cut some bits out.
Oh, we did, yeah.
One bit. It was about 40 seconds worth, I think, in the end.
Yeah.
That wasn't my choice to cut it. It was Fat Boys.
Wow.
He asked me to cut it before he left.
No.
Right. Anyway, moving on.
Voting age.
Do you know what? I was reading that as vomiting age. I was thinking, what the hell is a vomiting age?
It should be increased. It should be reduced.
I really do need to go and get my eyes tested. I can't. My eyes are really going now.
Oh dear.
The voting age should be reduced to 16.
What's it currently?
18.
No. Next.
No, because 16-year-olds are idiots. And to be honest, most 18-year-olds are idiots. I think it should be raised to 21, if not 25.
Yes.
Because people just don't have the life experience for voting. And you look at the people that are voting nowadays at 18 years old, they've got some really, really idiotic ideas. Anyway, that's all I'm going down on that subject.
You're looking at this for...
It should be put up to 25, in my opinion.
You're looking at this through the eyes of an old man, clearly.
No, I'm looking at the art through the eyes of most teenagers nowadays are complete freaking idiots.
Yeah,
I mean, look at the woke culture we got now.
Before people, if people go off in the comments about
You're not
teenagers.
You're not close enough to your mic, fat boy.
Oh, if people go off in the comments about teenagers, we both own a teenager, or at least one. And yeah, I still stand by that.
And if you are a teenager and you're listening to this, because you're listening to this podcast, it probably means that A, you're listening because someone said, listen to these a-holes, and you're one of those young idiots. Or B, you're older than your years, and you've got a sensible head on your shoulders, and you're not following the woke mob.
If you are, we'd like to hear from you.
If you're one of the earlier, I would like to hear from you as well.
Okay.
Just because, yeah, I think a good bit of ranting would go down well.
We should rename our podcast to Two Men Rant.
Well, yeah, should do. And if you're one of the latter, by all means, send some love. But I think I'd really like to hear from the earlier. We need some haters. We need someone to pick on.
There's plenty of them in the world.
Yeah, I know, but they're not listening to us.
Someone to pick on. Okay.
So I didn't mean to pick on. I meant to debate with. Sorry.
Debate
Okay. With. To crush under my heel. Because let's be honest, most 16-year-olds couldn't debate their way out of a shoebox.
Okay. Just for those listening, all of this is probably going to be cut.
It is not getting cut. And if they were listening, they wouldn't know it was cut.
Well, up to that point.
It's not getting cut.
Cool. Next one.
Most 16-year-olds are idiots.
So no is the answer to that one. It shouldn't be reduced.
Absolutely not. It should be increased to 25.
I agree it should be increased. At least to 21.
Okay, so obviously the answer to the next one for me is going to be a big fat no. Smoking should be made illegal everywhere.
Yes. I answered far too quickly. I hate smoking. I hate people that smoke.
So that I'm not actually smoking. I'm actually vaping whilst we're doing the.
It's even worse. Yeah.
The podcast. Well, it's not because it smells nice and fruity.
It doesn't.
I've got fruity flavours going.
All I'm doing is breathing in your dirty ass air. Oh man.
No, I don't think smoking should be banned everywhere. It should be banned from all public spaces. I believe in the streets it should be banned. And because I see fag butts everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's disgusting.
I actually think that weed should be made illegal. I just smell it everywhere now.
Weed is illegal.
Well, I smell it everywhere, so I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, and I smell it all the time.
I hate it. It's disgusting.
But back to the smoking. It's the fag butts. Even when I smoked, it was 12, 13 years ago. I gave up. I was always very conscientious about cigarette butts.
Yeah.
To the point where I'd hold it in my hand for an hour walk or until I come across a bin or something like that to put it in. I hate seeing fag butts on the floor. It's disgusting and horrible.
Yeah, totally agree.
And smokers smell bad. It's the smell of stale cigarettes is one of my most hated smells.
Yeah, totally agree.
So yeah, I think it should be illegal everywhere except private residence. And I think, certainly for the working day and things like that, they should provide specific shelters where you can smoke. Now, talking about that, in Japan, they have shelters around the cities, little smoking shelters where you go if you want to smoke. Everywhere else, you're not smoking.
My old work had that as well, a little smoking shelter outside.
Yeah.
A bike shed, but
Well, yeah, my work has a smoking shelter outside, but you could just walk down the street smoking. My point is, you shouldn't be allowed to walk down the street smoking. Unless it's in Japan, if you're in the cities or in these certain areas, you're not allowed to smoke where it's heavily populated. You get further out, you're allowed to smoke on the street. And I think that's the way we should go as well. But then they would need to provide designated smoking areas.
Yeah.
Otherwise, people would just break the law.
I actually think they should just stop selling cigarettes. The anarchy in the streets, but
I don't. Because people are adults, or people are adults. Adults are adults. Now, I agreed with them putting the smoking age up. And I don't know what the plans were. They were discussing about putting up 1 year every year.
Okay. Never had that.
It was something I spoke about before. I know it went up to 21.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, it's 21 to buy cigarettes now, isn't it? There was talk about putting it up a year every year. In other words, that means no one new can start smoking legally.
Well, that's quite a good idea.
So instead of banning it, because obviously you've got these smokers that can't stop smoking, but if they put the legal age up every year, the legal age to start smoking is the age of the last people to start smoking. 21-year-olds now, if it's next year they make it 22, they're the last people that will be smoking if we ignore the vast majority of smokers which are underage.
Yeah.
But what will happen is the younger generations will never be able to start. It will be a lot more difficult because they can't go in at 16 looking like they're 18 or looking like they're 21 to buy cigarettes, because in 20 years the smoking age would be 41. So there'll be no teenagers being able to buy a cigarette. If you see someone smoke on the street, you'll straight away know that's illegal. Because let's be honest, you're not going to mistake a teenager for a 41-year-old. Normally. Okay, next topic. Yeah.
Go on then.
Prisoners should be allowed to vote.
No, because the very definition of prisoners, they've lost all their rights as a human, isn't they? As a person.
Not their rights as a human.
Yeah, as a
That's
citizen.
what the human rights
Sorry, their
still
rights
protects them.
Let me rephrase that. Their rights as a citizen. There you go.
Yep.
So voting is included in that, and so no.
Yeah, I actually think prisoners get too much luxury.
Yeah. Should be oatmeal every day.
This whole about getting on and rehabilitating people, make them useful members of society. I'm sure it works in a few cases,
but not everyone. They had that chance initially, though. Sure.
But yeah, what you see in a lot of the cases are people come out with more skills as a criminal than they went into jail with.
Yeah.
Or prison, I should say, not jail. So it's flawed. So the easiest thing to do is make it atrocious so that they never want to go back.
Yeah.
I would make the prisons real shitholes.
Yeah.
The fact that prisoners' food is like double the price of school dinners.
Is it?
Yes.
Wow.
Now that's ludicrous to me.
Yeah.
Their meal should be about a quarter of the cost of a healthy school meal.
Yeah.
They should be getting gruel with vitamin pill crushed into it so that they can get their vitamins.
Sure, yeah.
Choice of drinks: water
That's
or
it.
water.
Yeah. Flat Coke. That's hilarious.
Out of date Coke.
Yeah.
That's been open for a month.
Absolutely.
Empty the trash bins and give them the bottles of Coke, the half used bottles of Coke that have been chucked away. Recycle those bottles of Coke. That's it.
No.
So I think we're agreed prisoners should not be able to vote.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's right, yeah.
Drug addicts should be helped, not punished.
I think that's a grey area. Depends on what drugs, like
No, well, to me,
cocaine, heroin. No, they should be punished.
well, I'm not of that opinion. I'm of the opinion that adults are adults. They're capable of making their own decisions, and if it's just a drug problem, they're not breaking any other laws.
Yeah, but drugs tend to lead on to other stuff, don't they?
Yeah, this is what I'm getting at.
And the Class A ones, they are really nasty in terms of addiction and things like that.
Don't care. People choose to put that in their body. They've chosen to put it in their body. Now, they can be illegal because they don't want it catching on and going everywhere else and everyone else starting to take it. Fine, no problems with that at all. I'm not advocating for drugs. I think they're idiots if you could start taking loads of hard drugs.
Yeah.
But they made that decision. If it's not harming anyone else, they haven't committed any other crimes, they're just hooked on drugs, absolutely. Get them into rehab instead of prison. The reality is they don't go to prison anyway.
Yeah.
They get arrested and then let go. But get them into rehab.
Yeah, but then the question is who pays for the rehab?
It's cheaper than prison.
It is, but prison is like taking away your rights as a citizen, as we discussed earlier.
Yep.
Rehab is an actual facility that costs money to run.
Let me rephrase. Put them in prison
with rehab.
With rehab.
Fine.
Now, obviously, if they're a danger to society, you do that. But I wouldn't necessarily put them in prison if they're not considered a danger to society. However, you could just have them going into the prison, because we've got plenty of day prisons here, where you can go in and out of, and you get your rehab at the prison along with the rest of the prisoners. But now, if there's any accompanying crimes, by no means is drug addiction an excuse. Because normally what you see is people getting assigned rehab because they're a druggie and they were stealing stuff to feed the habit. I draw the line there. If you're a druggie and you're not harming anyone or breaking any other laws, that's one thing. But if you're out there stealing and mugging people and stuff like that, I'm sorry, it's not an excuse. You shouldn't be entitled to any special privilege. You should be put in a dank, dark hole to rot, like all the other prisoners I was suggesting just on the last question.
But the reality is...
No, I'm saying it should be. I'm not saying that's how it is.
I know. No, what I'm saying is the reality of that is people that end up with Class A, Class B drugs, addictions, it ends up ruining their life because it's cost so much for them to keep the addiction. They then lose everything and then have to start stealing anyway. It's a what's it called?
No, they don't have to.
Well, they don't have to. No,
it's still a choice, and I don't care what people say. Like, oh no, they're addicted. They couldn't help it. It's a choice.
No, they couldn't.
It's a choice. They can help it. They don't have the willpower to help it.
Yeah, but have you ever? You've never been addicted to Class A drugs, though. You're addicted to smoking.
I was addicted to smoking, absolutely.
Yeah, but
if I couldn't have a cigarette, I wouldn't go and rob them from the shop.
Well, no, but you.
In fact, there were times early on in my life where I couldn't afford a pack of cigarettes. I just didn't have any.
Yeah, but I guess smoking is different to Class A addiction.
It is different because it's a lot lower level of addiction. But my point is, it doesn't matter how hard it is. It's not they couldn't help it. It was just at that level of it was so hard. I threw my morals out the window to feed my addiction. Because you could, you can't sit there and say it's impossible. It is entirely possible. People have given up drugs, even on their own, Class A addictions, because they didn't want to go down that road. You can't just say, well, it's not their fault because they're a druggie. No, this is what I'm saying. Give them the help, but that doesn't excuse any crime.
What if they've gone down that path as a result of, I don't know, before they can get help? Let's say they're still waiting for the help.
Well, I don't care. They broke the law. Now they're going to jail.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
Well, you look at it from the other side, right? Let's look at Hollywood and the celebrities that can afford their drug addictions.
Yes.
I'm not saying all Hollywood stars are druggies, but let's be honest, quite a number of them are.
Let's assume some of them are. Yeah, go on.
Well, we know for a fact some of them are.
Okay, fine.
They can afford their drug habit.
Yeah.
So they're not going to be going out stealing and robbing.
No.
So what's the problem?
They have the money to fuel it.
So where's the problem? They're not breaking any other laws. Their only law they're breaking is taking of these drugs, which is fine, which I say correct should be illegal. And I'm saying, but you help them first.
So you're
I'm not saying unlimited help.
No. Your policy is to help the rich people. Then
no, I just said the same for the poor. Rehab, but if you break the laws, if you start going out stealing, and robbing, and mugging people, you go to jail for those crimes. But the reality, not for the drug use.
Fine, but okay, fine, but they still get help in prison then, I guess.
Yeah, they can still have rehab in prison.
All right, fine.
But what I'm saying is, the drug use should be treated separately to any other crime. It's not an excuse for a crime.
Okay.
You should never be able to say, yeah, I mugged that old lady, but it wasn't my fault. I'm addicted to crack. No, you get done for mugging the old lady, and then they give you some rehab in prison. Now, I think you should only get 1, maybe 2 shots at rehab funded by the government before they just say, no, you had your chance. Don't care. You're going to jail. Throw you in a hole. Leave you to rot.
Yeah, I guess.
But let's be honest. But they should keep it. I firmly believe that drug users should be kept in isolation until they've been in isolation for a month. because the prisons are filled with drugs.
Yeah.
And this is a bigger problem, is the prisons themselves. How can they not control the substances getting in and out of the prison? I mean, really.
It's a flaw in their processes, isn't it, really?
Well, the thing is, A, the druggies should not have any money to be able to buy these drugs. Who's bringing them in? It means someone has to be bribing guards or something like that, or they sneak it in during visitation.
There's many, many ways, yeah.
But I don't believe for a second that there isn't ways that they could control that. Well, if they stopped spending so much money on meals and toys for them, then they could afford more guards to watch for this sort of thing.
Yeah, potentially.
Anyone caught giving something to a prisoner, a visitor, they should be instantly banned. And in fact, that should be a prisonable offence on its own right. Well, it would be if it's drugs, because they're smuggling drugs and drug dealing. So anyone caught should be prosecuted. Mm-hmm. And if it's found out to be a guard or something like that, then they should face penalties twice as bad or 3 times as bad as a normal member of the public, because they're employed to protect and stop that sort of thing. Now, if you do that and then go and pass those drugs in my opinion, you're worse than the drug user. But you are, because you're a drug dealer.
I didn't say no.
So I've spoke a lot. I'll let you have your words.
I was just going to say, it's the same with the police as well. That, one of them commits a crime or something, it gets covered up by...
Hang on. We're getting to police in a bit. It's further down the list.
No, I'm using... Sorry.
We're getting to specifically that point, so just hold that there.
But anyway, yeah. So, they should be punished just as much. Definitely.
Okay. Right, next topic. Advertising to children should be banned.
Oh my God, yes. Because is it Sean Locke? If you watch one of his stand-ups, legendary comedian, he says it should be banned. He says in his stand-up it should be banned because children are stupid. And, you put a Shrek on a bag of gravel and they'll want it. and it's like, well, yeah, because children, and he also goes on to say that children, they can't make up their own mind. They don't know what they want and what they don't want. They just see colourful things, they want it. Whereas adults can actually defend themselves and make a decision as to whether they need that or not. And so, yes, definitely.
No, I'm completely the opposite. Okay. Advertising to children should be allowed.
But what?
But it must be a child's product.
No, I don't think so.
So toys should be advertising for toys should be aimed at children. What's the point of advertising toys, that are kids' toys, at 1 o'clock in the morning?
You can get a restless child. There's loads of children I know.
So you're still pointing to advertise them at children, though?
Yeah.
So, yeah, they should be advertised to children, because that's the market. Now, if parents are too weak and they just cave in and buy all these things for their kids, that's on the parents.
Yeah.
But at the same time, for your example as a bag of gravel, putting Barney Bear on a bag of gravel should be illegal.
Yeah.
Well, illegal might be a bit harsh, but...
No, should be...
You could not serve it as an advert to kids. Well, if you did, your parents are just going to say no, because if they don't, then unless it's specific kids gravel for some reason, I don't know. You do get kids sand for sand pits. But again, something like that, something generic, you get play pit sand, right? If they're selling that and it's got, I don't know, Barbie on it, it's sand on the packet, on the bag. Oh, it's this Barbie sand. No, that should be illegal.
So false advertising is what you're saying.
Well, it's just sand in the bag. It's the same as any other sand in the bag of that type of sand. The character on the bag has no impact on the product. So it should be specific to the product. Yeah. If it's a Barbie doll and they're advertising it to children, no problem at all.
So relevant advertising is probably what you're going for.
Yes.
And I agree with that too.
Stop the stupid nonsense branding of things. The other thing that gets me as well, you find a cheap £2 hairbrush, right? And it says Barbie on the back, and it's for sale for £9.
Yeah. Yes. You can buy the exact same one without the branding.
Yeah, for £2. Cheaper, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So they need to stop that bullcrap branding. But it's not just that. I mean, you could say the same thing about merch. I watch a lot of streamers. I have some streamer merch. It's just a T-shirt with a brand logo on it.
Yeah.
So you could say the same thing.
How much are you charging for your jumper nowadays?
I never actually sold anything. I never actually planned on selling anything.
Okay.
That was I was setting up a online shop,
Yeah.
and they give you 3 items at 60% off. And because I didn't actually want any of the items that I was selling, I created some of my own merch, and I created 3 items with my own merch and bought them for myself.
Okay, fine.
But yeah, anyway.
Slightly on topic there.
I don't have one on today. So yeah. However, I am creating some 2 Men in the Shed merch.
Oh no.
Not for sale.
Okay, just stuff that we can.
Just stuff that we could wear on the show.
Okay.
I'm going to get hoodies and stuff like that. A couple of hoodies with 2 Men in the Shed logo on it.
Yeah.
Completely off topic again. We're at 36 minutes, and we're 9 topics in out of 30.
Yeah. Why did you do 30? We don't have to get through them all today. But...
It's a list of 30. I would want to hear back eventually from people, listening.
Yeah. I think we should have 2 minutes.
Would they want any of us to go into in depth in any of these topics?
Probably.
Do we want a longer discussion on them?
Probably, yeah.
Do they want to hear me rant more about idiotic 16-year-olds?
Oh my god. I was going to say, I think we should have a 2 Men in the Shed branded heat lamp, but...
Oh, we don't want a heat lamp. I've got a heat lamp, but it blinds you.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Different one.
Do you know what I was thinking of getting for this advanced studio?
What? Green screen?
heated throws.
Oh, what, you mean like blankets?
They're like blankets, except you put them down over the furniture and they're heated up. So you're basically sitting, it's warm in your butt and your back.
Yeah.
What is that here?
Except now we're going into spring, summer, so for the time being, I'm kind of useless. But yeah,
I'm not actually too cold. To be honest, the thing we need most in here is something on the concrete floor, because I feel that it's sucking the heat out of my feet. Yeah. I've actually got a little bucket here. You'll hear it dragging on the floor.
Oh, that's
for me to put my feet on, so they're not on the concrete floor.
I'm okay. Yeah, okay.
Next topic.
What's the next topic?
Beauty competitions create unrealistic beauty standards.
That's more of an American thing, though, isn't it?
I think it's all bullcrap now, because everyone's trying to be super woke, and now half the beauty models are overweight.
Okay.
There's this big push for large models.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I want to keep my thoughts secret on that one.
So no, I think it's now realistic.
Okay. I would actually say that Instagram and a lot of that kind of area of social media is kind of creating an unrealistic standard for that kind of thing.
Yeah. Now, if we're talking
unachievable.
If we talk about Instagram, yes, absolutely, because you can see all you get all these women looking really good.
Yeah.
But it's all makeup and filters on the on Instagram. In fact, if you look at you look on YouTube, look at some of the shorts. I've come across a few before. It shows people turning themselves in from looking like an ugly little troll into someone that looks absolutely stunning by the time they put all their makeup on and put the filters on.
Completely different, yeah.
So, yeah, definitely unrealistic if we're talking about Instagram.
Yeah.
But I don't have anything against it. I don't think it's unrealistic. I think it's just a case of teaching younger children.
But that's the thing, is they don't... Now children are being exposed to social media a lot earlier and a lot younger without control as well. They pick up...
Pull your mic a little bit closer.
They pick up that expectation without any filters, without any boundaries from parents. And so, it's difficult. It's difficult to teach them because they've already picked it up.
I think you should be taught it at school. Social media, because you actually learn about social media at school.
They do have courses.
They should show you this when you do, people doing Instagram stories. It's normally not what they look like. Look at how this makes me look now, and they can do these tests and show these kids how it makes you look really good. But then you've got that expectation. Well, actually, what I'm looking at online on Instagram isn't what they look like.
I have the blanket filter of everything I look at online is not real.
I mean, as you can see on the YouTube viewers, how beautiful I'm looking today is because I've got Instagram filters enabled.
Did you just say beautiful and not
I said beautiful. Come on, you can't look at me and not think,
Do you identify
beautiful.
as a woman?
No, I do not. Fucking identifying. Let's not go down that road, because you wouldn't let me talk about that topic. I wanted to make that a whole episode,
There's no way I'm talking about it.
but you're not going to let me, because
No, I'll get murdered in my house.
you get murdered in your house. I wouldn't. I just get murdered by the general public, I think.
Well, me first, actually. You've pissed me off so many times for our friendship. It's unreal.
How does that get you murdered first?
I don't know.
Or maybe your views are a lot worse than mine. Mine are pretty tame.
Damn it! Touche.
Yeah, kill him first.
Yeah, no.
Right, where are we at? Beauty competition. We've done that one.
Yeah.
Here's your one you wanted to talk about. Police should be immune from prosecution.
No. They're not anyway, right? Well, they are protected, not necessarily.
I think this list actually comes from the US, but they have a lot of the similar rules in place that we have here. So in the US, they have they have an immunity for doing things in the line of duty, unless they're knowingly in breach of the law.
Yeah.
If they know what they're doing is wrong, then they can be prosecuted. But proving that they know what they were doing was wrong, like when they break into somebody's house because there was a 911 call, even though someone answers the door and says, yeah, there was a 911, they say, there's a 911 call here, and they say, yep, don't worry about it, everything's okay. Close the door. They say, we have to come in and check.
Right.
They're not allowed to come in and check. In most cases, it's different. Not all states are the same in the US.
Yeah.
And there's a number of instances where they break the door down and force entry into the house so they can come in and check.
Well, that's not right.
But can you prove they didn't know that was okay?
Well, no, not reasonably.
Because there was a 911 call. They don't know. He could have just killed somebody upstairs and said, no, everything's fine.
Yeah.
Bye. So they want to come and check, which is understandable. But they say no and close the door. They kick the door in and go and have a look.
What if the person answering the door is under duress? That's the other thing. So if the person answering the door is a victim, being forced to do that, they're being held at gunpoint or knife point or whatever, and, they're told to answer, everything is okay, close the door.
I think their police are actually trained for that
Body
specific thing.
Yeah.
They look at body language and they will signal with their hands out of sight, and so that the people at the door can signal with their hands, thumbs up, thumbs down, sort of thing. So they're generally pretty good at communicating across to the people answering the door, is everything okay? They'll ask it verbally so the person could say yes, whilst at the same time, thumbs up, thumbs down sort of thing, where anybody else wouldn't be able to see it. And then that person at the door could slightly do a thumbs up or a thumbs down.
Yeah.
Well, fine, let's do a thumbs up. Yeah. Because everything's okay. But if it's not okay, they can thumbs down.
Yeah.
So, should they be immune from prosecution? They should be immune from frivolous prosecution.
No, I actually don't think they should be immune from any of it. I think
frivolous.
No, I think
everyone's can be sued for anything, and the courts chuck it out because it's frivolous. What I'm saying is, it should, before something that's going to get chucked out of court anyway, because it's frivolous, shouldn't get that far.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Then yes.
Yeah. So yeah. Well, I mean, no, they shouldn't be. Well, I guess the other thing is, if they ended up in a gunfight and shot a civilian.
Yeah, but what if they
by accident?
Well, then that's manslaughter, not.
You can go to jail for manslaughter.
Oh yeah, true.
My answer is yes, they should be protected from prosecution as long as there was no negligence there. If you've got an active shooter shooting into a crowd of people, you don't just sit down there with your gun out going, well, I can't shoot him because I might hit somebody else, when he's already there shooting the hell out of all these people.
Yeah. So
you take the shot. Now, if you miss and hit a civilian, it's tragic, but you need to take that shot. And this is why they are protected from prosecution. Because if they said, well, if you accidentally hit one of these people, you're going to jail for 8 years for manslaughter, who would do it? They're just going to stand there and let them shoot. Let the perp shoot people.
No, I think they'd have to find a more appropriate means to take him down. Another route, another way to do it.
Okay, so someone stood there with an AK-47 shooting the hell out of everybody, and you're going to go, well, I'm not going to shoot him. I'm going to find a more appropriate way to apprehend him. I'll just wait for someone to come down with a tranquilizer gun.
That's not a bad idea.
We'll just wait 20 minutes while he kills another 50 people.
But that's an extreme circumstance.
It is an extreme circumstance, but in fact, in the US, you call it an extreme circumstance. It happens
now. Yes, it's common now.
Well, it's not common. But you hear about a number of them on the news.
Yes.
So, would you take the shot if there was a person shooting people in a crowded cinema?
To quote Spock, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
So you shoot. If you miss, you need to be protected, so that you can't go to jail for manslaughter. Because otherwise, nobody's going to do the job. Nobody would take that shot. Because I wouldn't take the shot. Let them kill everyone. I'm not going to jail. If I miss, I'm not going to jail.
So basically,
so I'm just not going to take the shot.
Nothing changes.
That's not true. I'd take the shot. But I'm just saying, from a devil's advocate.
So nothing changes as far as what's currently in place, is what you're saying.
I think they could do with some fine tuning.
Okay. Yeah. I'd agree with that.
And make it more. If they've had training on something, it's a lot of these ones like the break-ins of doors. If they've had the training, which they should have had to become a police officer and know what they're doing and doing that sort of role, they've attended that training course. They've then acknowledged that they know about it. So if they break the door down someone's house when they shouldn't have done, they should be able to be prosecuted because you've got a training record that says they were taught this. Take them to jail. The problem is that's not how it works.
Okay.
It's just if people believe they could reasonably expect that they were allowed to do it.
Yeah.
That's my understanding. Don't quote me on that. I don't even live in the US. Obviously, we're in the UK.
No, I was going to say you.
I believe the UK has very similar laws in place.
Minus the
very,
guns.
very similar protection. No, we have guns.
No, as in...
You just don't know it. Well, we have plenty of guns.
Yes, but civilians can't have guns.
I grew up...
Civilians walking on the street can't have guns. There you go.
Yeah, but most people who go and shoot people, they're not registered guns. They're illegal guns in the US. Now, I grew up in some not so nice estates.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact there were guns around.
Okay.
I was offered a hand grenade once.
Oh, nice.
When I was 15.
Is it
now, I don't know if it was a real hand grenade or if it was a dud or a fake or whatever. But someone offered to sell me one for 60 quid. And what the hell would I do with a hand grenade? I was like 15. Really? I should imagine it was fake.
Yeah.
But
they just wanted the money.
Yeah. Okay, next. Violent video games should be banned. No. Definitely not.
Next.
It doesn't even deserve discussion.
It doesn't. I don't even know why you've written that. Just erase that from the
Don't be
list.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Now, however.
No. Do we have to discuss it?
Not really. I just need to say gory games with realistic looking graphics that are quite gory, or even realistic looking graphics where you shoot people and blood goes splattering everywhere, should be rated at an appropriate age rating.
Yes, and I think, just like films, games should be rated in a very similar manner and not sold to people under the age.
Well, that brings us to the YouTube policies. I think they pared it back now. The YouTube policies they were bringing out was you'd get demonetized if you had dismemberment. Even in video games. I think it's been backpedaled now because of the outlash. And one of the things that was pointed out is in Roblox, people often get dismembered.
Yeah.
Arms come off, they break into pieces.
Yeah.
So you get demonetized and set as adult content for playing Roblox. You know.
Too right, because that game is ridiculous.
No one should play Roblox.
Oh my god, yeah. That should be wiped off the face of the planet.
But my point is, you can't willy-nilly put in these rules like this. You have to have some thought about it. So it have to be realistic-looking graphics.
Yeah.
Roblox graphics, run around and shoot Roblox characters all you want. They fall apart, their legs and arms fall off, and their heads roll off, and they look like Lego blocks.
That reminds me of a game many years ago called, do you remember Carmageddon? Remember that game?
No.
No? So, you don't really like car games, do you? But basically, in the UK, they didn't sell the original version of the game. So, in the UK, you drive around in cars, you can get boosters, drive really fast, and you drive around a city full of zombies, right? And you drive into them, run them over, bits for them fly everywhere, and all that sort of stuff. But the blood that came out was green because it was zombies. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
makes
they
sense.
banned the original one, which was people, and it was blood. And I managed to get a copy of the original a while ago. But yeah, it's
You hear that? He's breaking the law.
no. I acquired it legally.
How did you acquire it legally?
Bought
If
it.
it's banned in this country, so
Well,
it's unbanned now.
I think. Well, I don't know.
Oh, you see, you had it smuggled, so now you're a smuggler and a.
Well, I bought it off Amazon, so.
Oh yeah, they definitely smuggle stuff.
Yeah.
There's plenty of illegal things you can buy on Amazon. You can order a blooming taser. You can order pepper sprays.
Yeah, but we could make one, so.
You can order all of those things. Yeah, my point is, they sell illegal products.
Yeah.
Now they're only acting as a facilitator, so it's actually the person selling it that's doing the stuff wrong.
Illegal, yeah.
But I know there's been a cry for Amazon to take up more action against things like that. I'm trying not to turn my head too much towards you because I'm aware last week the sound wasn't great and it took me freaking ages to try and equalise the sounds. I sounded like I was sat about 20 metres behind you.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I don't think this should be banned.
No, yeah, absolutely not.
But it should be appropriate age.
Okay, here's a tough one. Obese people should pay more healthcare.
Oh my god. Where did you get this from?
It's called Games for ESL. It's actually an educational website.
Brilliant.
And this is meant for schools as topics for debate.
Oh wow. My question is, what class is as an obese person then?
Obese is clearly defined in the.
Let me tell you something, right? I'm classed on my doctor's chart as obese.
Okay, you should pay more healthcare.
No.
Right, so here's my thing, right?
Nobody actually pays healthcare actually in the company. We all pay.
Yeah.
We all pay.
We're in the UK. It's free, but it's not. You pay in
Yeah. Why are we talking about Americans? We should talk about English.
Should they pay in the UK some money towards it?
No.
Why not?
Well, because
should smokers?
I don't know.
Between smokers and obese people, they account for something like 96% of.
There's no way they account for that much.
Look it up. That's off the top of my head, but I know obesity is linked with about 65%, and smoking was linked with about 70%. So there's a lot of obese smokers in there as well.
Yeah,
but
to
be fair, the stats I'm quoting, I probably heard about 6-7 years ago.
Oh God, yeah, okay.
But it's a lot. It's a lot. A
Yeah.
large portion of the healthcare system is taken up by obese people.
I think it should be treated differently. Obese and smoking should be treated as addictions, like we were talking about earlier. They should be sent to rehab or something similar.
So you should be forced to a diet.
Oh God, no.
Well, you've got to go to rehab.
No.
You just said obese people need to go to rehab.
No.
That's you.
Only if it's a problem.
Oh, I see. It's one of those.
Yeah.
Everybody else's problem, not mine.
If you're in and out of a hospital with issues because of the fact that and then the doctor tells you need to lose weight because of these issues, these health issues, then yeah, you should be sent to rehab or have the option to go, should I say?
I was right. So you're penalising people for getting ill. It's okay to be obese unless you get ill.
As a result of their own actions, yes.
Right. So if you get diagnosed with anything they say is even slightly remotely related to your weight, you think you should go to rehab.
If I get hold
That's
on.
what you told me.
If I get told that I have diabetes, for instance, right?
Yep.
There's obviously things you can do to kind of help with that. So it depends what you get. If I have type 2, then that'll be from birth, wouldn't it? I think that's right. But if it's type 1 due to food, then they will give you a list of things you can do to help that, to decrease it. So exercise, eat less, blah, blah, blah. If you keep coming in and out of hospital as a result of that, then yes, rehab. Or the equivalent.
how's this for a point of view?
Terrible.
Obese people
Yes.
should pay a percentage towards their treatment if it's related to their obesity. Let me add something to that.
Yeah.
If it's related to their obesity and there is no reason for their obesity other than willpower. As in, I mean, it's not there's no medical condition that causes their metabolism to run really slow or anything like that. Yeah. So they've got there's no medical reason for them to be obese other than they're just eating too much or not exercising enough.
So you're talking about lazy people and depressed people, because depressed people will eat generally.
Yeah, but generally they're eating because they're overweight. They're depressed because they're overweight. Sorry.
It's a vicious cycle. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I've been trying to get in shape for years. I've never been particularly obese. I was considerably podgy. I know you can probably see if you watch me on YouTube, you'll see I've got like a loose skin underneath my chin here.
Yeah, but that means you are getting in shape, right?
Oh, I'm losing weight.
Okay. Oh, right. Okay,
I was never particularly large. I did have a very chubby face. All my weight went to me gut and me man boobs.
Just like 8% of the male population.
Well, no, because if you look at most people, they've still got chubby legs or chubby arm stuff. My legs are skinny as a rake. So are my arms. It's just me gut and me chest and me face that used to put all the weight on. But yeah, I've been losing a lot of weight. No one wants to hear about that anyway.
No. We're learning more about you every day.
Yeah.
Every week, should I say.
But willpower. Now, I tried loads of diets and I'm crap at it. I don't have the willpower to diet.
I will tell you something. Diets don't work. That's another topic we can discuss.
That's clearly not true.
It is. Diets don't work.
Misinformation there.
No, diets don't work. Don't do them. Change your lifestyle. Make it a habit. That works.
Diets do work. But anyway, we'll have a debate. But first of all, let me finish my thought before it goes away.
Go on then. Go.
I'm crap at dieting.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I like chocolate too much. I like bread. A lot of bread. I like bacon in my bread. I like bacon on my sausages. I thought you were going to do the old line. Butter up that bacon, boy.
Oh, God.
Bacon up that sausage, boy.
Simpsons, that was brilliant.
But I tried so many times to diet. Couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Exercise. Exercise is the way. So if you can't diet, exercise. If you can't exercise, diet. If you can't do either of them, get some willpower.
You get that from the shop. $10.99 a slice. This is what I'm saying. This is why I'm saying diets don't work, right? Because most people will tell you they've been on more than one diet. No one ever tells you I've been on one diet and I've stayed slim and healthy, right? So my point was diets don't work because you keep going back to them. Okay,
so I've got a view on that. If that's the case, you were still overeating.
Not during your diet.
No, but that's my point. Then they're going back to overeating. Yes. The point of the diet is the diet helps you lose the weight. Then you eat what your body needs. You don't start overeating again. Because if you look at it this way, right? So let's say you're eating 3,000 calories a day. You diet and you go down to 1,500 calories a day. I don't know if that's probably a bit much. But anyway, you're down to 1,500 calories a day.
That's all right, yeah.
And what you burn is 2,000 calories a day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got a calorie deficit. You start losing weight.
Yeah.
You get down to the weight you want. You don't go and start eating 3,000 calories a day again.
Yeah, but
you go to 2,000 calories a day. That's more than you were eating, so you can feel satiated that you're eating more. Your stomach shrinks in that time period as well.
But that's the point. Diets are unsustainable.
They're not unsustainable at all.
They
no,
are.
You need some semblance of willpower.
No, diets are unsustainable as a lifestyle choice, and this is what I'm saying. Change your lifestyle and the way you eat, and therefore you'll keep the weight off once you've lost it. That's my point.
That's the whole point of dieting.
No, because I've lost weight doing exercise and changing. Well, I eat healthy anyway, but doing more exercise, I've lost weight. I don't need to diet.
Yeah, no, that's what I was saying before. You can diet or you can exercise or you can do a combination of both. Diets do work to lose weight. The problem is the people then don't have the willpower to not eat more than they should be eating after the diet, and they put the weight back on. What you're talking about is lifestyle, yeah? So you start getting more active and you're losing weight that way. Great. But people will do the same thing with exercise as they do with diet. They don't change their lifestyle. They'll go, right, I'm going to do some exercises, and they'll do loads of running, they'll do loads of various other physical activities.
So they get down to the target
Then
weight.
they get down to the weight they want, and then they go and sit on the sofa and eat ice cream for the next 10 years and put on another 30 stone.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
It works with both of them. You need to find one that works for you, or a combination of both, and then you need to pull yourself, instead of just cutting out the diet completely or cutting out the exercise completely. If you were dieting, you go to the calories you need, not more than. You don't go back to what you were eating before. If you're exercising to keep yourself fit and you're losing weight and you get down to the weight you want, you can reduce the amount of exercise you're doing to maintain your weight. You don't go back to doing no exercise. So, combination or both. Combination or one or the other. You can do it either any way around.
Well, I don't fully agree with that one, but I think that's a full-on debate for next time.
That just means you're wrong.
No,
anyway.
That's not. This is what I got put up with, just FYI.
Honestly, no, I don't think obese people should pay more for healthcare.
That was the question.
I was putting it as a playing the bit devil's advocate. I don't think they should be paying more for healthcare.
They should be given help, I think.
As a general rule. But as you said, if they're told they need to lose weight and they don't lose that weight and there's no medical reason stopping them losing that weight, then I think for continued treatment, they should be paying towards it as a percentage of it, because they haven't met their health goals that the doctors have set.
Yeah.
So that's a yes and a no. No, it should be free, but if they do nothing about it when they're told they should, then they should start paying something towards it.
Okay. Again, not my full view, but sure.
And that's in the UK where healthcare is free.
Yeah.
So this next question is really a question, I guess, for the people in the US then, because it's healthcare should be free for everyone. Well, it is in the UK.
You mean like they should have our version of NHS?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah. They had Obamacare, which was very similar to this, and then it got undone by Trump.
I'm not getting into this debate with you, Trump and Obama, but Obamacare was a pile of crap. Let's not get into it.
You can't say, no.
Yes, I can say that.
You can't say that.
I can, because I've researched it. You haven't.
You can't say that and then completely dismiss everything out that comes after it.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's have this debate next time. Let's have the Obama versus Trump. Now, I'm not saying I'm a Trump supporter, but what I'm saying is a lot of his policies were a lot better than Obama's.
Next.
Next episode.
No.
Obama versus Trump. Don't cow it out now, you.
I'm not doing that.
You just wanted it. You just wanted that debate.
No. This is one of the things that makes me angry.
I tell you what, people, get in the chat. Leave us a message. Drop us an email.
Tell us what you think.
Tell us if we should have this debate. Obama versus Trump. Policies, what worked, what didn't work.
I think
Who was the better president?
No, because I don't. You know full well I don't follow politics very much.
I know, but you're still more than happy to put your opinion in and say that no.
Because of the things I've heard from
even
both sides.
To people that have researched it, you're going to say no. Now, I think this is one of the major problems with America at the moment, and not just America. Even in the UK, we have the same issues, but I think you see it more in America. Because it's more public, and that is people listening blindly to crap they hear online. Except for this podcast, everything we say here is complete.
I'm literally sitting there thinking, hold on a minute.
No, but I will always encourage people to do proper research.
Yeah, definitely.
I wouldn't sit here and listen to some crackpot on a podcast.
However,
I'd listen to them, and I think if I thought that makes sense, then I'd go and research it.
Yeah. However, you tend to find as well you can't always trust research online, right? Because websites can be put up very easily nowadays with false information. There is something actually I came across the other day, which was which involved a hilarious situation at work. Actually, funny enough, but it was what's the Scottish thing that they have, the meal they have?
Haggis.
Haggis, that's it.
You need to
So
keep your mic.
So this hilarious thing, someone came up to me, she was a young girl, well, I say young, 21, came up to me and asked me what haggis was. She said she thought it was an animal. And it took me 15 minutes at least to try and convince her that it wasn't. It was actually a meal made from a sheep's stomach. Right? Yeah. So, and then I went to research online because I was trying to find a link to show her. And I come across a website that said it's haggis season and then had images. It was obviously a joke website, a satire website.
Yeah.
But it had images of this animal that was supposedly a haggis, like an animal. And I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but going and looking at a website isn't research.
It was a couple
you
of
need
websites,
to
yeah.
research.
Well, yes, I know this, but...
And this is another problem everyone nowadays seems to be lacking, is the ability to think critically.
Yes.
Why can't you read something and think, well, that bit surely can't be true, or look into that a bit more, or this bit, that sounds like it's about right, but I'm just going to double check that on with other sources.
Two things. That requires common sense, and it requires the ability to think critically.
How old was this person that asked you about the haggis?
Yeah, I think I mentioned earlier, 21.
21. That's close enough to a dumbass 16-year-old.
She's very intelligent, to be fair.
Yeah. No, it's understandable when people get mistaken. They hear something, and you naturally believe things that you hear. And she asked the question.
Yeah.
Which is fine. And there's no issues. Sorry for calling you dumb if you're listening. I didn't mean it.
She will see this.
I'll
send her the link.
I was just wondering if she was going to be 16. But
no.
my point is, people have lost that ability to research. Now, if she asked a question, she's going out of her way to try and find out.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's what you should be doing. But don't take one.
Yeah.
It's easy with a fact like haggis. I mean,
yeah.
If you looked for more than 30 seconds, you're going to find out the truth.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of politics is obfuscated. What's the word?
I don't know. Obfuscated.
Obfuscated. That's the one.
Yeah.
Obfuscated more. I'm trying to sound intelligent and can't speak like that.
That's an also question whether you should believe him on what he says as well.
Well, this is why I asked you how to say the word.
Obfuscated, yeah.
No, I'm believing you. So don't be lying to me.
No, I'm not. We do it a lot in software development.
Anyway, I think it's a lot more obscure in politics.
Yeah.
Trying to find the facts. But they are there, and if you look for them, you'll probably find them.
So
if you spend more than 20 seconds looking.
The way I'm trying to do... it was worth mentioning as well that little fact of information came from a person on TikTok. And that's why it was... This is also the growing concern of people seeing stuff on TikTok and believing it straight away, especially with the kids that don't really know any different.
I don't have TikTok.
No, but children do. And
my kids don't.
This is the concept, the situation of being able to control what they see. You can't anymore. So this is why you're saying you have to teach them.
Number one, don't let them have TikTok. Number two, you can let them have YouTube. Give them YouTube Kids. No, don't give them YouTube Kids. I've changed my mind, actually.
There you go.
I've seen some really dodgy stuff about YouTube Kids.
Yeah.
But
the fact is, you can't control everything they see and don't see.
No, and this is the thing. Now, I don't know how other families do it, but we still sit around the table at least once, twice a week and have dinner at the table as a family and have discussions about what they're learning in school, what's going on in their lives.
I don't have a table, but yeah, I do something similar.
And interact. Now, hopefully, I don't want to say it's my influence, but I mentioned something the other day, and my kids just turned around and said, well, that's just stupid. And both of them were like, who would believe that?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I'm not going to go into what it was.
Why is it controversial?
And I kind of saw myself talking back to me, but it's not a conversation we'd ever had.
Okay.
And I could see their fervour in their answer to me.
Yeah.
Matches my own.
That's dangerous. I can't.
And no, because we're talking about facts and not facts.
Yeah.
They know it's a fact.
Yeah.
I know it's a fact. But unfortunately, a lot of people don't seem to know it's a fact. So I'm not getting into it any more than that. Leave it there. You probably guess what it is.
No, what's the fact? Wait.
You don't want to because you don't want to discuss this topic. So I'm not going to discuss it anymore.
Tell me off air. Tell me off.
You can't tell me to tell you off air because the people listening are now going to want to know. If I say yes, I'm going to tell you. They're going to think I need to tell them.
No, it's fine. Just let's move on.
Right. I don't know what question we were on.
Rich people should pay more taxes.
How did we get down that rabbit hole? No, we weren't. We were on should healthcare be free for everyone.
Oh yeah, that's what we were on. I thought we were going to the next one.
Well, we're completely off topic. Okay, healthcare. Yeah, we've done that already.
It should. Yeah.
Rich people should pay more taxes.
No.
Rich people already pay more taxes.
Yeah, exactly. The reason is just because they worked to get that money, the same as everyone else. They just happen to have, some people inherited it. Fair enough.
Yeah, I can say it's not true that rich people work to get their money in all cases, but in a lot of cases, yes, it is. But no, the amount of money you have shouldn't relate to your taxes.
No. But things like inheritance and things where people acquire wealth, that already gets taxed anyway. So it's not as if they're not paying tax on it. I don't actually think that's right either. But so the vast majority of rich people have earned their money in some way or another, and therefore have sort of paid the required taxes to get there.
Or someone earned that money anyway.
Yes.
And if someone earned it, and if they left it to somebody else, it got taxed for inheritance tax.
Yeah.
Or it didn't because they found some loophole because their lawyers are fantastic.
Yeah.
And they paid their lawyer a fortune instead of the government.
Exactly, yeah. Somewhere somebody's paid.
But no, rich people should definitely not be taxed more.
No.
Now, I say that because I intend to be a rich person in the future.
Yes. Me too. We've been trying this for the last 10 years.
Currently, I have not crossed that threshold into rich.
I think I've actually got poorer.
We had kids, that was a problem.
Oh my god, yeah.
War is never justified.
Oh, I don't know.
I do. Yes, war is justified in a lot of cases. Not always.
Sorry, yeah, that's what I was
going for. But in a lot of cases, war is 100% justified.
Not 100% justified.
Yes, 100%.
How is it?
What do you mean, how is it?
How is war justified?
Let's see. A load of people come into your country and try and take it.
Yeah. Okay.
Are you going to war?
You haven't got a choice at that point.
Of course you have. You could say, yeah, fine, come on in.
Yeah, but they. But if what?
I can't say that on there.
If war is never justified, the other people won't come into your country to try and take it over in the first place.
Who says war? They're just going to come in and take over.
That's an invasion. They intend to fight.
Is it war? Who said they intend to fight?
I don't know.
200,000 people arrive and say, "Oh, yeah, we're just going to take over here. Can you get out of the?"
Well, then you just say no.
Get out of Downing Street. Yeah, and then they drag you out. What are you going to do? Then they pull guns. It's a war.
Yeah,
you're going to war. Well, my point is, there is times where it's justified to go to war.
But there are times, yes, and it is justified for defence. But usually it's not. Usually it's in the case of wanting to attack and take over.
There's always two sides or more in a war.
But it's usually always
unless it's a civil war. Then there's one side, but there's still two sides at least. But internally.
But what I mean is the conflict is usually started by an aggressor of some sort. You never get a peaceful side starting a war. And it's always because the aggressor wants to take over or wants resources or wants something.
Okay, fat boy. Right, here you go. You want an example?
Give me an example of war that is started by a non-aggressive.
Let me give you an example of a war. I was thinking of using the US Civil War.
Yeah.
So let's go with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're trying to abolish slavery.
Yes.
Half the US says, no, we're not abolishing slavery, and you can't make us.
Yeah.
Should they enforce the law?
Should they enforce the law?
Yeah, they've banned slavery.
Yeah.
But half the US has said no.
Right.
But it's now illegal.
Yeah, which is fine.
So What do you do in that situation? Do you try and enforce the law on all of those states that said, no, we're not giving up our slaves?
Yes.
You just started a civil war.
Technically, they started the war by saying no.
No, they didn't start a war.
Yes,
They just said no.
Yeah, but they're not adhering to their country's own laws.
That's not starting a war. Otherwise, everybody goes and robs a Mars bar from the local shop. They started a war.
Well, yeah.
They didn't obey their own country's laws.
Yeah, but it's their own country. I mean, like, it's the law, isn't it? You have to abide by it. Otherwise, that's it.
Well, you don't have to.
Yes, you do. It's the law.
No, you don't. It's the civil thing to do. You don't have to.
It's the law.
Anyway, so I think I've proven my point there.
You have not proven your point.
I've not proven my point. Okay, that didn't end in war at all. Right, okay, next. Some soft drugs should be made legal.
Like?
I guess they're talking about marijuana.
Is it not more legal?
Or maybe magic mushrooms, or...
Well, that's more of a hard drug, isn't it? But
magic mushrooms?
Yeah.
Nah.
It's hallucinogen, isn't it? So...
Yeah, but it's relatively harmless. You don't see people on magic mushrooms going and causing riots and killing people. They tend to be laying on their floor going, ooh.
True.
And I don't know. I'm not a drug expert, but I don't think they're anywhere near as addictive as the like cocaine and heroin and crack and all that sort of stuff either.
Well, no, I don't think so.
I don't know, but I don't think they are.
I don't think so. But no, I just think. I mean, there are arguments like cannabis has been made a Class C drug, and that's why people tend to be smoking everywhere now. And I think it's because you make something illegal, it's going to be underground and more rampant. It's going to go underground and be more rampant. If you make it at least a less kind of illegal drug, if that makes any sense, it can be controlled more.
Well, you've already got legal drugs. Cigarettes.
Yeah.
You've legalised drugs. Alcohol, you've legalised drugs. In caffeine, you've legalised drugs. My answer is, so depending on how harmful they would be to society, if it's deemed that they wouldn't be particularly harmful to society, absolutely legalise them and tax the crap out of it. Let's make some money off of it instead of giving it to the drug dealers.
Yeah.
Government needs more money? Legalise marijuana. Put an 800% tax on it. Let's be honest, marijuana's really cheap. The reason it costs, I don't know how much it costs, but I'm assuming the reason it costs a lot of money to buy is because it's being smuggled into the country and they're making money on it. So if you legalised it and grew it as a government entity and sold it, or even allowed private entities to do it, and just taxed the crap out of it, it's probably only going to be the same price and the government's making a shed load of money.
Yeah. In fact, they might get better rates for buying it overseas, and then the people that are trying to smuggle it won't get anything.
International trade with Colombia. There you go.
Yeah.
I don't know. Was it Colombia's crack and cocaine or heroin, all that kind of stuff, in it? Well, I don't know. No, the Colombia they grow. Marijuana's grown in Colombia as well, a lot, isn't it? Because it's a nice warm climate.
Why are you asking me? Because I'm black.
No,
I have no idea.
I'm asking because you're a druggie.
Am I? Yes. Okay. Should I be in jail?
No, one-time rehab. Remember?
Oh yes. No, I have no idea.
My answer is yes. If they're not too damaging to society, yes, tax the crap out of it.
Yeah.
But you should never be allowed to advertise it.
Okay.
Like cigarettes, advertising cigarettes is now gone.
Yeah.
You know, you don't see Marlboro all over the Formula One cars anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, get rid of no advertising it.
Yeah. Okay.
Marriage is no longer necessary.
This is an interesting topic because you're married currently. So if you agree with this, you may as well just go get divorced.
I agree with it. It's not necessary.
What was it necessary for in the first place? I've never been married, just in case you're wondering.
It was a necessary part of polite society.
Okay.
Nuclear household, 2.4 children or whatever it is. It showed the union. It was important to communities in showing that females are taken and you were together and you'd made a commitment.
I think that's still appropriate now, yes.
Well, I don't think necessarily marriage is appropriate. Well, no, sorry, no, I don't mean the word appropriate. I mean necessary.
Not necessarily.
There are plenty of people that are called, was it common spouses in common or what? Common law spouse.
Common law, yeah.
Yeah,
but
now the only thing it's necessary for is
it provides a legal contract.
Marriage itself doesn't really, but the laws are written around marriage.
Yes.
So in essence, it becomes a contract because the laws only apply in a lot of cases if you're married. So I think, is it necessary? It's not necessary, but they should be rewriting laws for non-married partners. But then it's difficult because you might live with someone for a long time and then they say, well, no, you're automatically married now, common law marriage, which you are. And so there's a lot of legal ramifications for it, but as an institution, I think it's had its day and it's gone. Now, whether you call it marriage or not, I think it's had its day. It was originally a religious thing, I believe. So now I've just said religion's had its day essentially by extension.
I think I'm not going to be the one that's murdered first.
What? I don't know. Religion, I think, is pretty safe to talk about in your beliefs in religion because it's a widely debated topic, and that's the whole thing is freedom of belief.
I mean, we're both atheists, right? If I remember rightly.
I don't even like being called atheist.
All right, we both don't believe that there's a God.
I don't necessarily not believe there's a God.
No, okay.
I'll give you a very quick rundown of my belief system.
Okay.
Just for context, I would not rule out that there is a higher being.
Oh, there's a word for this. I can't remember what the word is. It's not atheist. There's another one. There's another word that says.
But here's my thing.
I'll look it up.
Here's my thing.
Mm-hmm.
This is when people get angry with me. If God exists, he's just an alien.
Okay.
Pure and simple.
Okay.
Can't be anything else. I don't believe he created all and everything. No, not for a second. But it's quite conceivable that if there was an advanced race, they could have kicked off this planet, or specifically the pool where all of the whatever it are, the amino acids and all the recipes for life, chucked them all in there and went, right, let's see what happens. Or they knew what was going to happen, that some kind of life would evolve and this would happen. And
they tried to seed it elsewhere.
And they've seeded the planet.
It
could even be an experiment. Let's see what happens. They could even be watching us now from a long, long way away.
I can tell you one thing, probably, that over the research papers that I've read, not enough time has passed for life to evolve anywhere else. Like, more advanced than we are.
In our universe.
Yes.
But our universe is finite.
Yes, to a degree.
We're not going to get into the physics of space. But yeah, essentially, it's only been around X amount of time. It's only so big. There's nothing to say there's not big voids in space after that. And then there's another universe just over there. Because we're expanding into empty space. Therefore, that empty space goes on forever after the universe. And therefore, a long way away in that empty space, there could be another universe. There's also sitting there expanding or contracting or stabilized or whatever.
This is the conversation that we have that goes on for hours.
This is completely off topic. Anyway, I was just getting into my beliefs on God. So, yeah, if there was a God, it's an alien. But no, I really don't believe particularly in a God. I don't think anything happened. I think it was all just chance.
I was reading an interesting paper today that our universe is a convergence of all other universes. All possible universes have converged, and that's what created our universe.
Yeah, okay. But my point is, I don't like being called an atheist. Because why? To me, it's obvious there isn't any such thing as some master creator of the universe. And I say I 100% ruled it out that there's an alien that could have done something to push along the growth. I don't believe really, particularly in aliens are here or been here, so I think it's a pure chance. But then you're calling me something because I don't believe in stuff that people have made up.
Yes, but those people are called religious.
Yeah, so somebody that's not religious,
they have their own names,
is not religious.
Like what? Like what?
Well, if you told me, right, you believe there's a pink fluffy squirrel on your shoulder that only you can see, why do you need to name me something for not believing it as not a pink fluffy squirrel on your shoulder that only you can see?
Because the name for me is mentally unstable.
And the name for me is therefore sane. Now, but I can't say that in regards to religion, can I? Even though the same principles apply.
Yes, you can.
And that is...
They'll be called Christians, Catholics, whatever you like.
Okay, so I made this argument before when people ask me what religion I am.
Yeah.
I've said I'm sane. It's not. I probably shouldn't say that on here, but
it was too late.
It's too late. It's done, and I can't bother to cut anything out. So yeah, I consider myself sane.
Okay.
So unless you're saying atheist is synonymous with sane, I do not consider myself an atheist. Because to consider yourself an atheist, you've got to say, no, I don't believe in that. Well, no, it's not a case of I don't believe in that. You believe something that I think is clearly nonsense. Why are you naming me for being sane?
Because religion was a big part of our history. They
That's not an
run the country, and
it's not an excuse.
They dug themselves in.
But anyway, so that's why I don't like being called atheist.
Well,
and I would tend to tick other. What are you? Sane.
Scientific.
And I will write that on a blooming government form. What religion are you? Atheist? No. Other? Yes. Sane.
Fair enough. Anyway.
there shouldn't be a label for I'm not any of these things. I don't believe in any of your craziness. Therefore, I've got to have a name for my own craziness.
Fair enough, yeah.
No.
So no, marriage is no longer necessary, you think?
Not as a religious principle. It was never necessary.
I don't fully agree with that.
I'm not saying it's not necessary. I think it is the marriage is fading. I think that's a bad thing.
There's a reason for that.
I think the principles of marriage are very important, but I don't think it is necessary.
But there's a big reason for why it's fading, especially in the last decade or so. Is the laws are geared towards, I think, more women.
Of course they are, yeah.
When you get divorced, right? So a lot of people are just choosing. A lot of men, especially, are choosing not to get married as a result. And also with the advent of apps, dating apps, and things like that, people could literally go, "Oh, I'm going to find someone new. Go out on the next,
Yes and no.
There's a few factors, I think.
I think you've hit some of the points. I would say
there's quite a few factors that kind of go.
I wouldn't say the law favours women over men so much. Possibly with regards to keeping the children, yes. However, that's starting to show up statistically incorrect in very modern times. In that, if fathers fight for custody,
you shouldn't have to.
Well, no, because custody is 50-50 until it's assigned. Women always claim custody, and men don't often fight it. In modern time, in very, very recent times, men have been winning a lot of the cases when they can show that they're better providers for the children than the mothers.
But what if it's equal? What if you equally can provide? In that case,
the courts will award 50-50 custody.
Not every case goes to the courts.
You can take it to the courts. You have to go through arbitration first.
Yeah.
Then after that, if you can't agree in arbitration, then you can, I think, eventually go to the courts. If you agree something in arbitration and someone breaks it, you can then go to the courts. But you have to do arbitration first.
Okay, so actually the government tends to push you towards being able to resolve it between you and your partner before you do anything.
Yes, and then if you can't, you go to arbitration.
Yeah, so majority of the times, people will just settle for trying to sort it out between themselves, right? But in that case, most of the time, children go with their mum, and it's geared towards them.
No, because that's the point. They agreed to it. people setting it between themselves, and this is my point, people setting it between themselves will usually end up letting the mother keep the children.
Yeah.
But that's a decision you have made. You've then agreed to it. If you do not agree, you say no.
Yes, but that's my point, isn't it?
No, you're talking about what people tend to do
No.
versus the law favouring someone.
My point is you then have to fight to get equal custody.
No, you don't.
You shouldn't have to.
Go and pick your kids up from school and take them home.
Then you'll get fucking. You'll get the
Nope. The police
social
will.
services round.
The police will tell you have exactly the same rights as the mother to pick them up from school and take them home. If there's nothing formal in place, that's why they then go to arbitration to get something formal in place. And the courts have more recently, very recently, been awarding fathers custody where they are deemed to be better providers. The exemptions being very young children, babies, and such that are still weaning. But it's not really biased towards women. But the thing I would say is when you're divvying up after divorce assets, it's generally considered that the men get screwed.
Yeah.
Because the women get to take a load of their money and stuff.
Yeah.
And the only reason you see it that way is because men typically are higher earners.
Yeah.
Okay? So what happens when you get broken up is it's like, well, now they get half of everything. Even though I earn 3/4 of it, she gets half of it, say.
Yeah.
But it's not true. Because she's been at home raising my kids. Yeah. While I've been working. I could not have gone to work if she wasn't at home raising the kids. Or we could have got a nanny to raise the kids and she could have gone to work as well and earned money. But then I'd have to pay for the nanny.
Yeah, often the cost for childcare is extortionate.
Yeah, now my point is it should be 50-50. The only time it should differ is once you enter into that relationship, you start doing. The only thing that should differ is assets that were brought into that assets and money that were brought into the relationship, brought in from prior to the relationship, because they weren't part of that household marital union.
I mean, that's actually my view as well. I was going to say, if you own anything before you go into that marriage, relationship, whatever, that's yours, regardless.
Yep.
And anything you acquire as a couple should be divided 50-50. Or something along
yes,
those lines.
And when we say anything you acquire as a couple, that includes
children,
the man's salary and the woman's salary.
Yeah.
And stuff you've got in the bank. So if you save together, let's say I had £1 million going into a marriage, and by the time at the end of a marriage, there's 1.8 million in the bank. Mm-hmm. Yeah? Well, I get my 1 million back.
Yeah.
That 8 million, that 800,000 gets split 50-50. I wish I had that much money in the bank.
But let's face it, if you did have $1 million in the bank, you probably wouldn't have it by the end of the marriage.
No, and to be honest, the courts will probably split that equally.
Yeah.
That's why you have to have a prenup.
Yeah.
And it basically defines, these are my assets coming in. They will remain my assets if it ever ends.
Yeah. And that's why I don't think people should be offended if you ever suggest that before you get married.
Should never be offended by the suggestion of a prenup.
Absolutely not.
And the people that go off saying, "Oh, if you really love me, if you're going in thinking it's not going to work and all this,"
manipulative. Don't listen to her.
Don't get married.
Yes.
Don't marry them.
Yeah,
they're clearly gold diggers.
Yeah, leave that. Next one.
Where are we on?
Children should not have smartphones.
Children should not have smartphones. My rule in my house is 11 years old. That's when the kids got smartphones.
To be honest, it's roughly around the same time my kids did as well. However, I think that's too young. I actually think they shouldn't get it until they're 16.
Now, the difference is,
yeah,
my kids' phones are under parental lock.
I think mine are there.
So you can decide what permissions to give them. They can install any apps they want that are age appropriate without permission. Anything that isn't age appropriate, it comes to me or my wife to approve.
Yeah, but you still get things like TikTok, which completely warps their mind of things.
They do not have TikTok. TikTok is not age appropriate. They cannot install TikTok without my prior approval.
TikTok is age appropriate.
No, it's not.
It is.
No, it's not. It's 13.
No.
Actually, my son could have installed it.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it is. But you can also choose to lock apps out.
yeah, that's fine.
But neither of my kids have TikTok. I will not allow it. And you say, I can see every app my son has on his phone.
Yeah.
So it's not on there.
No.
I'm curious now as to what the age restriction is on TikTok. I'm pretty sure it's 13 or 15.
13, if anything. I know Instagram and YouTube is, but let's face it. There's no real checks for age. You just go, oh, my age is this.
Yes, but I'm saying they can't install the app on the phone if I lock it out.
Yeah, that's fine. If you have it,
there's no way of doing it.
But,
everything's under parental control.
Yeah, but that's you. Most parents don't actually have their kids' phones under parental.
Well, I think a lot of people don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
To be honest, when I set up the family set, it's a blooming nightmare. On
iPhones, it's one of the intro. You know the intro screens when it shows you, fill out this information for your profile, whatever. It's as soon as you turn the phone on, I think it's one of the intro screens to set up the parental stuff.
But that's crap.
Why?
Because if you don't set it up that instant, you're never going to find it again.
That's under settings, but
yeah, everything's under settings.
Yes.
Trying to figure stuff out is not an easy game.
But this comes back to, okay, fine. If you know what you want to do, you'll have a search. You'll search for it. You want to research.
Well, here's the thing, right? I had my daughter had a tablet as well, and it had the same parental locks on it. They had tablets before they had phones, and they were again parental locked, but there was no SIMs or anything like that. It was just data. There's no WhatsApp. They got no outside communication really.
Prison.
But yeah. But it had parental lock on it, and I got my daughter a new tablet quite recently. And the old one, I thought, I'm going to set that up for streaming. I'm going to use it as the remote control panel for streaming.
Yeah.
I tried to factory reset it.
Oh, it doesn't let you.
It doesn't let you.
No.
Because it's locked, because it's got this account on. So I thought, right, I'll remove the account.
Yeah.
And it says, and I'll try and remove it. It says, this will remove the account, this account from all devices.
Oh, interesting.
And you know, it took me ages to figure out how to remove it from just one device.
It's hilarious.
I eventually got it done. But anyway, it really annoyed me.
Now it's in a skip somewhere.
No, it's on my desk. It's all set up as a control for streaming. I should actually bring it out here. But I actually set it up for streaming games when I'm doing my streaming, so which I don't do anymore. So
no. This podcast is an hour and about 40 minutes. And we're 20 out of 30.
Right, okay, we're going a quick fire round now.
Oh, for God's sake!
Quick fire round,
okay,
right?
Fine.
If you have more money. If you start again, if you have more money, you will be happier.
Wrong.
Yes.
50-50.
It makes it easier to be happier. Let me say.
Yeah, but generally people with lots of money are usually more lonely and unhappy.
No, I disagree. I think people born into money are generally less happy.
People
that work hard to earn their money, they are happier.
Yeah, okay, fine. But if you generally have lots of money and let's say you're rich, it's harder to distinguish who is your friend and who isn't, because people will gravitate towards money.
Not if you've earned your money. You've already got your friends.
Yes, if you've gone through that.
Like if I became rich in the next year or so, I'm not going to suddenly think, oh, I can't be friends with Dan. He's just looking for my money.
Yes, you will.
well, I won't, because we've been friends while I've been poor.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not saying I'm poor now, by the way. But I was back when we first met.
Have you seen the garage? I mean...
Yeah, I can't afford to do anything. Just plain white walls.
Okay, fine. So, yeah, if you've had to go through the what's it called? The time and the kind of effort to get to that point, you'll acquire friends along the way.
And this is what I say, if you're born to money,
friends.
To money, I don't think it makes a difference.
Yeah.
In fact, I think a lot of rich people tend to be depressive type people.
Yeah.
Very depressed. But you find someone that's worked for their money and finally made it.
Yeah.
They're generally happier than people who are poor, I'd say.
Yeah, okay. I agree with that one.
Unless you're one of these people that really doesn't understand money. I've seen so many, there's so many times these people run the lottery and they're broke a year later.
I have no idea how.
And then they're manic depressives and they end up homeless and all this stuff.
I do not know how they do that. if I won 142 million, okay, yeah, I might spend it all, but I will not be depressed about it. I'd have a house. I'd have several houses, boats, planes, cars.
There's no way I would spend it all. First thing I'd do is I'd put some money in trust for each of my kids.
Yeah, well, no, I wouldn't.
I would then put annuities in place that pay out when I hit retirement, so that I'll never be broke.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about 100 million, what am I going to spend that on?
Oh, I can think of a few.
Well, I could spend it if I wanted to try and spend it.
Yeah.
But realistically, I'd probably I'd upgrade my house, not to anything extravagant, but I'd want land. Now, I would allocate 30 million for what I'd call pocket money. Right?
Yeah.
Let's say 50 million's gone straight away out of that 100 mil.
Yeah.
20 million, I've got to chuck some money to family and stuff like that. You know, you can't not. So chuck them, I don't know, a mil each of certain families and stuff like that, and friends. Yeah. Leaves me 30 million. All right.
Right.
That's 30 million to spend. I'm not going to be broke because I've put annuities in place, even so I even put some that pay out straight away.
Yeah.
To give me income. But reality is, with that 30 million, then I'd probably take 10 million of it and buy houses and rent them out. There's a steady stream of income.
Yeah.
I've now got 20 million. I can buy myself a nice house for a couple of million with a bit of land. To say the land's going to cost an extra couple of million, 4 million quid. I don't need humongous amounts of land. I just want somewhere to have a little pond and do some fishing. And
I need enough to build a runway.
I'd want a go-kart track around my land, and I would have a runway.
Yes.
I would have a grass, just a grass strip. I don't need a proper runway. Grass strip.
No, a proper runway. If you're going to have that much money, do it properly, man.
No, I don't need a grass strip. What do you think I'm landing there? I'm not landing a private jet there. I'm going to be landing Cessnas and stuff like that because I'll be piloting myself.
Nah, I'll be doing a private jet.
You'll be broke. You're going to buy a 20 million pound jet.
F-15.
Pay someone. You ain't buying an F-15 with that much money. That's going to cost you 400. No, is it 2 billion F-15 now? Or is it? I can't remember what's
I
that?
can't remember. No, I have no idea.
Can't remember. Anyway, but you can buy some old. You actually can't now, but you used to be able to buy Russian fighter jets.
Well,
the retired Russian fighter jets. They were selling them.
That doesn't surprise me.
Anyway, let's move on. This is supposed to be a quick fire round.
I know.
Jesus Christ. Generally easier. Yes, easier to be happy if you've made lots of money.
For your money. Yeah.
Governments shouldn't track their citizens. Yes, governments should track their citizens. Quick fire.
Yes, they should.
Yep, correct. The right answer or wrong answer?
But let me clarify in the sense that I don't think they should acquire huge amounts of data on them, though. Tracking in the sense of movements so they can better plan, let's say, fire facilities and facilities for the city, or that sort of thing.
Look,
disaster recovery.
To be honest, unless you're trying to hide something, what's the issue with them tracking you?
Because I don't want them to see me going, down the shops.
Okay. Moving on. People shouldn't have to take a test to become a parent. Oh, people should have to take a test to become a parent. Yes, absolutely, 100%.
No.
Yes.
Well, no, because what if she becomes pregnant and you fail the test?
They need to invent a device that stops people becoming pregnant.
It's called the pill. And actually, it's called.
It's enforced. I know people get human rights people getting angry with me now for saying that.
Yeah, I don't agree with you on that one. I think there should be some sort
and
of test.
it will be women getting angry with me for saying stuff like that. So I'm quite happy to say it should be enforced upon the men. Okay,
no, I
have no problems with that.
No, I think there should be like a test, almost like a driving test, right? But not necessarily you pass or fail, you can't become a parent. But literally an informational thing, almost like parenting class, with a test at the end of it.
No,
because a lot of people just lack information.
No, there's too many problems.
No, a lot of people lack information, and I think that will be a good thing to have.
Do you know why half the population is so dumb? Because of their parents.
Yeah.
Unless you know how to raise a child, you shouldn't be a parent.
Let me clarify that with nobody knows how to raise a child.
That's bullshit. I know how to raise a child.
Nobody knows how to raise a child.
Because I've done my research. My kids were planned.
No.
Both of them planned.
Yeah, I'm sure, but the reality is that's not always the case.
Oh, it could be harder than expected, yeah. There's going to be things you haven't looked at, yeah.
You can't account for every single thing in parenting.
No, you can't account for every single thing, but you can know the basics.
And even when you plan stuff, like, plan their parenting throughout their life, I'm going to be like this, I'm going to do this. It doesn't always work.
No, I haven't planned their entire lives out.
No. Sorry, I mean
planned to have the children.
No, I mean as in like planning the type of parent you're going to become to them. Yeah, which a lot of people do. It rarely ever goes to that plan. That's my point.
I'm pretty much on what I intended to be.
No. I'm not going to ask that one, but let's move on.
And I'm happy with the people my kids are becoming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Next one.
Right. Next one. Fast food should be banned. Nope.
You've skipped a few.
No, I haven't. People should have a test to become a parent. Fast food should be banned. I'll move it up for you so you can see.
Oh yeah, there we go. Fast food should be banned. No.
No, absolutely not.
No.
And as for McDonald's got forced to take out their supersize.
So I think that's wrong.
I can't remember where the lawsuit was. It was either in the
Probably
US
America,
or in the
yeah.
UK. I can't remember, but they got sued for offering a supersized meal because it was intended for one person, and it encouraged people to become obese. There was a fly flying around. It encouraged people to become obese.
But
therefore, it's their fault.
This
No,
links back to your
Piss
addiction.
off.
This links back to your addiction.
piss off.
Thing.
Piss off. No.
No.
If you go and
fast food
eat
is a
too
choice.
much, it's a choice.
It's a choice.
If you want to go and order the biggest thing on the menu because you're that greedy, fine. And I'm not going to say that. I've ordered the biggest things on the menus.
Yeah.
Because I'm blooming hungry.
Yeah.
And sometimes I even force myself to eat it.
Yeah. Just in case.
I don't do it every day.
It's the same thing with chocolate bars as well, right? So they've reduced.
I love my chocolate.
Yeah, so they've reduced the size of chocolate bars because there was a tax
Now
on
I
sugar.
have to eat 3.
That's exactly what was my point. There's a tax on sugar, so they reduced them. But that's not going to stop people eating less. All they're just going to do is buy 2 of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So all it's doing is making the government more money, which
No.
I see it from their point of view. But
no, instead of buying 1 bar of chocolate, you buy a multi-pack.
well, yeah, but they've made them smaller as well.
Yeah, so I eat half a multi-pack.
Exactly.
That's not true. I've been controlling myself better of late.
So yeah, that's.
I now only eat Maltesers because they're the lighter ways to enjoy chocolate.
Oh, God.
I'm not joking. I pretty much only eat Maltesers now. They're not much better for you, but
I can't believe you just said that.
they are slightly better than the other chocolates. And I enjoy eating Maltesers. I like to bite a bit of chocolate off and then suck the middle out of them.
Anyway,
Great.
Anyway,
I love Maltesers.
I don't think it should be banned. No,
it shouldn't be banned. People just need to get a grip and get control of themselves. However, there was one thing I will say about fast food. Ingredients in some places around the world need to be controlled.
Oh my God, yes.
If you look at the difference between the fries in the UK and the US, there's in the fries in the UK there is potato, oil, and salt.
Yeah.
In the US, they've got something like 28 ingredients.
Yeah.
They even dye the chips to make them yellower.
Yeah.
To make them look yellower. Fuck's sake. Go on, you major food corporations in the US, get a grip.
Yeah.
Seriously, the amount of crap they put in that food. Look up some YouTube, people.
There's some
Go and look at
good videos of comparisons between UK and US
great
food.
videos on comparisons between food.
Yeah.
I think the UK and the EU, by extent, because we had the same laws, are very good. Or not very good. There's still room for improvement, but they're much better on what can go into fast food.
Yeah, we're more tightly controlled on what substances can go in.
Yeah, than what's in the US. US fast food is considerably worse for you than EU, UK fast food.
Yeah. Next.
Men and women should be allowed to compete against each other in the Olympics. Yeah, if it's a mixed event, absolutely. Yeah. If it's a men's event, no, then only men should participate. If it's a women's event, then only women should participate. But yes, I think it would be good to see a mixed event.
I don't think trans people should be, which I think is now already been reversed, should be allowed in the women's events and vice versa.
I thought you didn't want to touch that topic.
I don't, but it's just entered to my head. So, and I remember this has been reversed already. That
I think this is what it's alluding to. We're actually getting to there.
Men and women,
I'm in complete agreement.
Biologically, are built differently, And so in
Yeah.
events like swimming and running and things like that, it's no comparison, basically.
And that's not to say that a woman couldn't beat a man, because she clearly can in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
But we're looking at the top 0.1% of men in athletic fields versus, you know, I've got this backwards, haven't I?
Yes.
You're looking at the because if you take, what was it, the swimmer was ranked 500 in the men's, and then went on to win all of the women's.
Yeah.
So when you take, now these women's are the top 1% of women in swimming, but generally speaking, that means the top 1% of men will be able to beat them in that.
Yeah.
So you can get someone that's 500th from the men's, and he would be first in the women's. So if you put the top 1% of women against the top 1% of men in a physical activity where the male physiology has the advantage, the men are going to win.
Yeah.
And yeah, it sucks, but that's the case. So therefore, you do need that separation between biologically biological males and biological females.
Yeah.
Celebrities should earn less money. Nope.
No.
You should be paid what you're worth. If they're bringing in hundreds of millions, then it's only fair they get paid tens of millions.
Or something along those lines, yeah.
Your pay should scale to your to what you're worth.
The only thing I think is slightly off is that they can demand how much money they get paid for a role. Like once they're in it. We try and demand that in a job.
No, they can't. That's agreed before they've got it. They'll get offered the role, then they'll do the contracts, and if they're not willing to pay that price, they'll say no, and they'll get someone else.
Okay, fine.
It's not a case of they've agreed that I'm in this role, now I can just name my price. That doesn't work that way. Otherwise, you'd get a bit part in a film and go, you're going to pay me 10 million.
I didn't say they have to accept it, but
that's my point. All people should receive a basic income.
This is quite a big topic.
Well, this is a lot like universal income in the UK.
Yeah, I agree with the universal income.
I don't know. It's not called universal income anymore, is it? I don't know what it's called.
No, I don't know what it's called.
Living wage or living income or whatever it's called. I don't know what it's called.
I thought it was just universal basic income. But yeah, whatever.
I don't know. I have mixed feelings on that one.
There's a really great video by a YouTube channel called Kurzgesagt, which explains very well the differences between universal income and what it could do for society. Should it, if it's done right?
My answer is yes. You should.
And I agree with it. It's good. Yeah.
But it should be low. It should be a struggle to get by on a basic income. If you're not working at all, and there's no reason for you not to be working, I'm not saying you shouldn't get more money if you have an accident and you're disabled and you physically can't do you can't work or whatever, you can't leave your house for some reason or whatever because you've got to sit on oxygen or whatever. Fine. In that case, you get medical allowances.
Yeah, you get,
and they get extra money to get topped up. Yeah, there's medical benefits on top of it.
Yeah.
But as a basic income for somebody who's capable of working and is not working, it should be a real struggle.
What you're talking about there is them having the minimum wage basically as an income.
No, less than minimum wage.
No, I don't think so.
No,
minimum wage is the minimum amount you need to live.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. That's how they work it out. It's
the
minimum amount of money.
Somebody
you need
that's working 40 hours a week at minimum wage should be having more money than somebody who's not working.
Okay, so...
And they do. If you work 40 hours a week on minimum wage, you get a lot more than what that is, than basic income is.
Yeah, but
basic income's about £400 a month.
What I'm thinking it is if you have minimum wage as a universal basic income,
that's a lot more than what it currently is.
When you work 40 hours a week, do you get that money on top of your basic income?
No, you only pay the basic income to people who haven't got a job. Everyone else has already got more than the basic income. Or are you saying everybody should get X amount of money from the government?
I think everybody should get universal basic income, regardless whether you're working. And then either it gets taken off if you're earning more than that.
No, absolutely not. That encourages people not to work.
No. If
Yes, it does.
If
Yes, it does.
if you
can grow up knowing, well, I never have to work in my life.
No, if it's minimum wage, you can barely live.
No, it needs to be below that. It needs to be to the point where it's an absolute struggle.
But there's no point then, is there?
Yes, because you need to discourage it so people can survive. What I'm saying is...
But that's the benefit system currently. The benefit system is also encouraging a lot of people not to work because of the way it's set up.
And that's my problem with it.
Yeah.
It's paying too much money.
Yeah, but it's the loopholes that people can get.
If you're able to work and you're not working, you should be getting enough to buy bloody rice and pasta and something to go in it to eat. Your rent should be taken care of. You should never give them money to pay their rent. It should always be a direct contract with the landlords if they're out of work. And only to a certain value. If you own a home, you should be forced to give up that home or take out money from that home if you can before the government pays anything out. I'm sorry. That's the way I see it. Why should I pay for people not working?
But that's what it currently is.
I know it is. And I think it's atrocious.
Yeah.
No, I agree that I'm paying into this. I agree, yes. I'm paying into it. But it's twofold because you've got to take into... my anger is directed at the people who just won't work, who deliberately sabotage interviews because you have to go for a certain number of job interviews and you have to do all of these things.
And they do the bare minimum to get the money, to get
benefits.
No,
they'll deliberately tank job interviews.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They do the bare minimum to get the benefits. Go to an interview and then deliberately not take the job.
Well, they won't get offered the job because if you turn down a job that's offered to you, then you lose your benefits.
Right, okay. Yeah.
You would have to accept it. So they tank the interview on purpose.
Yeah.
Someone will say to them, well, are you able to get in on time? You say, well, I don't know. I tend to oversleep a lot. Well, they're not going to get the job, are they?
No.
People deliberately tank the jobs and they sit on benefits. And they just sit on them.
Yeah.
And that's what I don't like. So if we're talking about someone like yourself, right, and you got made redundant.
Yes.
Yeah? Well, you've been paying into this system.
Yeah.
So I think it's only fair that it pays out to you until you can find another job.
Okay.
And as long as you're looking for that job and trying, that's fine. So I guess the issue is in how you would know who's the scumbags that are milking the system and who the authentic people are that actually need that support.
Look at their history. Because at the end of the day, what you're saying, if I got made redundant,
yep,
I should only be paid enough to struggle and have rice and beans every day. Despite the fact I've been paying to the system and you
should have enough to survive, not enough to live.
Technically, it's the same thing. It's the same thing.
No.
Surviving, living, same thing. Well, I'm
talking about living as in living to enjoy your life.
No. Living as in you're able to buy food.
Yes, I know. But I deliberately said surviving because it makes it that point. You're not having fun. You're surviving. That's all you can do is survive.
Right. So again,
you're literally getting. In fact, no. They should scrap that. They shouldn't give you anything. They should give you food. They should ensure your housing's taken care of and give you food. That's it. Get rid of everything else. No money, food stamps.
No.
Yep. No money, food stamps.
No, I just think the universal income should be minimum wage for everyone.
Okay, minimum wage.
Yeah.
Fine, whatever.
But I think that people that are paying should be...
You sound like you're heading towards communism to me.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that communism might not have some good points in it, but generally it's bad.
Okay.
Everyone has the right to own a gun. No, not here.
No.
Not in this country.
No, move on.
No, but I mean, look. In a country that was where its founding principle was the right that everyone can have a gun, or one of its founding principles, is that everyone has the right to bear a gun. Before you jump in and saying, yeah, but that was ages ago and all of this stuff, and times have changed and all that crap.
Yeah.
That place, the US, was pretty much founded with the right to bear arms. That is basically, that's the main, one of the key parts of that country's history.
Yes, but laws and times can change.
No, because it's the founding constitution.
Yeah, but back then, they would never imagine that someone would be able to own a bloody AK-47 or an
they were flintlock
M5.
pistols back then. They were flintlock.
Yeah, it literally takes you 10 minutes to load it up.
Piss off.
And it'd be as inaccurate as a bow and arrow.
Okay, so here's the thing. No automatic weapons.
Well, no, then
they'll still kick off about that.
Exactly.
But
It's
no,
all or
I think if you were, that's a key part of your country's history. That's the key part of the thing that own the right to bear firearms, and the whole purpose. Do you know why they're allowed to bear firearms?
No.
It's meant for that if the government ever oversteps its bounds, that the population can rise up and remove the government. That is its entire intention.
Yes, but the population can rise up regardless then.
Yeah, but do you know why that is?
Why?
Because they had to rise up against us, the British.
For God's sake.
Yeah? So when they wrote their constitution, they took most of the stuff from the British constitution, or English constitution, I should say. But then it added the right to bear arms in case they ever got oppressed, that they could overthrow their government. That's what it's there for. And that's one of the core principles and beliefs of the US, is that the government is there to serve the people, not the people to serve the government. So I think for the US, it's right that they should be able to bear arms. Now, we don't have that right here.
No.
We did once upon a time. Ish, kind of. But you had the right to bear arms. Yeah, but only if you commoners didn't. But a certain class did.
Yeah.
But those have changed over time. And they would tend to be local fiefdoms, laws of local fiefdoms and things like that. I'm not sure. My history isn't greatest for the UK. Funny enough, I know my history better for the US than I do for the UK.
Yeah. We are able to own firearms here if you have a license for it. I know a couple of people that have one already.
Shotguns, definitely.
Rifle.
And rifles and pistols.
Yeah.
But it's very difficult.
It is, yeah. I know someone that actually owns one. He goes shooting.
So I looked at joining the gun club.
Yeah.
Pistol range. Because I really enjoy shooting pistols. There are clubs. The nearest one I think is Northampton.
Yeah.
And to get in there, you have to be recommended by 2 current members, which means you have to go and hang out at all of the gun shows.
Yeah.
Start chatting with the people from the club until you can get 2 people to recommend you. And I was reading about the process. And they said it typically takes about 2 years.
Wow.
Of them knowing you before they'll recommend you.
Oh, that's interesting.
But if you have 2 friends,
what? One friend, he goes out. It's funny. It's interesting because he goes out weekends, shooting local not wildlife, but vermin, let's say, for customers. So he'll sort of travel around the country. Yeah, he'll spend nights just camped out, and I'm like, that looks terrible.
Next one. The age you can buy alcohol should be increased to 25.
It's what, 16 currently? Or has it been increased to 17 recently?
It's 18. It's always been 18.
Yeah, I totally didn't start drinking at 16.
Now, my take is...
No.
Yes and no. Yes, from a local shop, from any shop. Anywhere where you can order and drink in, I think it should be 18.
I don't think it should be 25. I think it should be 21.
No, I think it should be 25.
21.
It will help discourage antisocial drinking. Most of the time, by people who've reached 25, they've grown up a bit, and the ones that aren't going to grow up are just the
The dossers.
And they're probably not drinking on the streets at that age. And this is it. If you look at all the people drinking on the streets, all right, they're aged 16 to 19 typically, maybe 14 to 19 nowadays. The people smashing glass bottles under every underpass after they've drunk their beers.
Oh, that could be anyone.
It's mostly young freaking hoodlums. I use the word hoodlums intentionally.
Oh my god.
Eating meat is unethical.
No.
Nope.
Yeah, next.
I love meat. That came out wrong, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Too late. It's on our podcast now.
I was about to start naming meats, right? And obviously, it was when I went to start with the first one. I was like, no, I can't. I love meat.
You can say what, sausage?
I'm going to go with bacon. On that, I went and bought. There's a local butcher van that comes down from Northampton with his fresh cuts. I bought eight ribeye steaks from him.
Yeah.
Saturday gone.
Jesus. Nice.
And
we are on the final
one. We've only been going for 2 hours and 6 minutes.
You can cut this in half.
Might do 2 episodes.
Yeah.
We just need to record another intro to slot in the middle there.
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay. Social media has ruined society.
Absolutely.
It's
right. Okay. Let me clarify. On large, it has, but there are certain benefits to it, like being able to keep in contact with people. Things like
it has had
this.
a lot of benefit to society.
Yeah, but equally, a lot of
I
negative.
think the modern social media. Again, I'm looking at you.
YouTube.
No. 14 to 20-year-olds.
Oh no.
No, in all honesty, there's a lot of great people in that age. A lot of kids got their heads screwed on.
Yes, definitely.
The problem is the loud whiners and moaners,
which, by the way, extend for every age group. Yeah.
It does, but the problem is these people in every age group aren't going to be the people making laws. Well, actually, no. Let's be honest. The left's already gone there, hasn't it? Actually, I saw they shot down Scotland's law, didn't they? Scotland was trying to introduce, making it a lot easier to get to change your sex legally.
Oh, okay.
They were bringing the times right down.
Yeah.
And ages down and things like that.
Yeah.
And UK government blocked it.
Brilliant.
Because it's not.
Okay.
It doesn't fit with current law.
Actually, I saw Sturgeon resign as well.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet it's a large part because of that.
Yeah, that's quite interesting.
And the large part because she couldn't get her independence referendum.
Yeah.
For Scotland.
But nobody. To be honest, if she couldn't do it now, nobody's gonna be able to do it in the future.
I'm just trying to see if my mic's actually picking me up properly because I've sat right back in my chair. I just noticed relaxing because we've been here too long.
We'll figure it out in a minute. I mean, mine fell on the floor when I seemed to do it right, so.
Yeah. So, social media, yes, it's ruining people now.
Yes. But it does have its benefits.
More so than it ever did before.
Yeah, definitely.
We are into the times now where people's attention span is the length of a TikTok.
Oh my god. That is the most annoying thing that has ever developed out of a human person, is the very tiny, short attention spans because of this.
Can't have a conversation with someone on a topic for more than a minute.
Yeah.
Like, if we were of the new generation, we would have got through these 30 talking points in probably about 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Now, as it is, this podcast's 2 hours long, right?
Yeah.
Which means nobody under the age of 21 can listen to it.
Exactly, yeah. We can say whatever we like right about now because nobody's ever going to see it.
That's right. That's right.
So, yeah, there you go. There's two sides. So yeah, I think that's quite a good talking points wrapped up today. Yep,
now it's time to bugger off, go away. We'll see you next Monday.
Yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and we'll see you next week.
I'm just at the. I'm just gonna add some more stuff just to make it longer. No, YouTube doesn't come up. Our channel doesn't come up on YouTube if you search for @2 Men in the Shed.
We'll fix that in post.
No, we won't. It's just search for 2 space men space A and space A space shed. 2 men in the shed with spaces in between them.
Literally, our last point was the attention span of teenagers and 20-year-old somethings is the space of a TikTok, and you're going.
I'm talking to Gen X and Gen Y and Boomers.
Wait, as soon as you said 2 space,
I got it wrong. We've been here for freaking 2 hours. And I'm freezing.
They've stopped listening.
It doesn't matter. Men. So I may as well just stop it now. 2 Men in the Shed with spaces in between without the app on YouTube. Leave us a comment. Tell us how crap we're doing. Tell us how great we're doing. Tell us what you want to know. Or you can email us at, what's the email? 2 Men in a Shed podcast @gmail.com.
Yes, that one.
And on that note,
thank you. See you next time.